Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Sit Down. We are here with Abraha. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Good.
She is a presenter, a podcaster, a videographer, and a director.
There's actually a long list, but I'm keeping it humble. I'm like, yeah, cool. Just go with that.
Sick, man. And like she said, she does a lot of stuff, and she's come to give us her 4 mantras. Do you know your 4 mantras off the top of your head?
I think so. I
Yes.
mean, I live by them. I should do.
You should do, innit?
Do you have them written?
I have them written down here.
Great. Cool.
So, what are your 4 mantras?
Okay, so I think mantras are like meant to be one word, right? I live by like sentences. Right, I think so. The first one that I always live personally, and no one's ever taught me this. Actually, no, no, I don't think someone's taught me this. But I went to a conference a couple of years ago. It was like motivational, blah, blah, and I think this is where it inspired it. But I live by the quote, I have the same amount of hours as Barack Obama. And it makes me humbled, first of all. And second of all, it makes me ambitious at the same time, because it's like, wow, if Barack Obama, or the time when I made this quote in my head, was the president of the biggest country, you know, the most powerful country in the world, then surely I should be doing more. Like, I shouldn't be watching TV right now. I shouldn't be like hanging out with my mates. I should be like investing in my future, investing in something that I want to live by when I'm older. So that's my first one.
Your second mantra?
I think my second one was failure is knowledge, and that one's my dad. My dad, he's a G. John, you're just amazing. My dad, he taught me this. Actually, when I was in 3rd year, it was like 2 a.m. and I was in the library and I was crying on the phone to him. I was like, I cannot pass this essay. Like, I just can't. And he was like, listen, like, even if you fail, it's fine. Like, you will learn something. Fail is not knowledge. And when he said that, it resonated with me. And ever since then, I was like, right, cool. I don't mind failing from now, because at least I'll learn for the next time.
Sick. Your third mantra?
The third one, I think it's I actually don't. What is it?
You got this.
Oh yeah! Oh my god! This is, yeah, I say this all the time. Like, anyone that knows me knows that I say this all the time, even to strangers. I like to say, like, you got this. And I say this to myself in the mirror, like when I'm walking or I feel anxious about something, I'm always like, your tea, you got this, sis. Like, girl, you got this. And I say it to others as well, to give them that sense of, like, because I say it to myself, I don't need people to say it for me, but I feel like others that may not have that for themselves, I should be that person for them. So yeah, you got this. And then the last one is I'm just trying to look, being
big as my vision.
Yeah, cool. So this is like, okay, growing up, I was always told my ambition is greater than my ability, which, like, it hurt me. I was like, bro, you think my ambition is bigger than my ability? Like, no, I'm gonna show you my ability is bigger than my ambition. But what I mean by that is that I have a big vision. Like, I think I can never think small. I don't know if it's just me or something, but I always think of the bigger picture. I hate looking at things like cropped sizes or small sizes. Just, maybe it's the Aquarius in me. I don't know. I'm not really the horoscope person, but I kind of am. So when I think of that, I think, right, okay, so this is my vision. I'm just as big as my vision. Like, I can achieve those because I'm just as big. And it also makes me feel like my vision is small, and it's in a sense that I can achieve it if I'm just as big as it, I can, it's attainable. It's like attainable, like I can do it.
Sick, man. So let's kick off with your first mantra, which is, I have the same amount of hours as Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you touched upon it, but like, how is that like implemented in your daily life, and like, you know, as a presenter and a host, you know, it's not an everyday thing. So
Yeah.
how do you strive each day?
Okay, so I don't know if you guys know, but actually I am a student, and I have a full-time 9 to 5, and I try to do things on the side. So when I have I have to host on the weekend, people think it's just I turn up and I'm here, give me the mic, but it's not. It's like probably a couple of hours of preparation, looking at questions, chasing people up for, are you comfortable with this question? Are you going to be comfortable if I like cue you in after this person and stuff, like chasing them up just if they're going to attend, even though it's not really my role. I guess I am an ambassador for that event, so I have to make sure that, just to make sure the panel is fine, or whoever or whatever the event is, that it's going to run smoothly. So when I say I have the same amount of Barack Obama, sometimes I may feel like overwhelmed, because they're like, bro, I have to chase this person up, do this, and still finish my essay by tonight. How am I going to do it? But I'm like, do you know what, T? Sacrifice sleep, because Barack Obama, I'm sure he does it when he has to go to some summit in, I don't know, Amsterdam for some UN bullshit and stuff. So I'm like, okay, T, if Barack Obama can do it, you can do this. Like this 15 tasks before 12, easy. You got this. And then that's how I do it.
That's sick, man. And like, you know, that mantra, I guess, doesn't resonate with a lot of people, but with you it does. And
why did I choose him, maybe? Or why does...
I mean, that's what I was coming to, essentially. You're right, yeah. So, like, why Barack Obama?
Okay, so actually, Barack Obama was just a personification of a power figure at the time when I made the quote in my head. But it could be changed. I think right now, it'd be someone like... who do I think is the most powerful person right now? I think someone like Billie Eilish or something. Like it doesn't have to be like strength, and it's just influence, you know. And the reason I chose him at the time, like I said, is just because he was a big figurehead. But it changes. It can change all the time. Like when I speak to some friends and I know they're like activists of certain things, I'm like, yo, you have the same amount of hours as Gandhi, like chill. But like if I was to talk to my mom, I'm gonna be like, Mom, you have the same hours as, I don't know, what did Tukul. Like I adapt to this person. But for me at the time when I make this, and it's just stuck in my head now, like I can't change it. But yeah.
Does it help increase your productivity when it comes to like uni and all of that stuff there?
For sure. You see that quote there? I feel like it's one of the reasons I even passed and graduated my first degree. Like honestly, I'm like, yo, can't do this, and I'm like, Barack Obama is the president, and this little paper is gonna defeat me. So,
yeah, man. And you know, you said you studied biomedical science.
I still study biomedical.
You still study why biomed?
Okay, I failed medicine. That's it. Oh. Actually, I didn't fail medicine because I didn't get in. That's the problem. So I actually was 1 mark away. It makes me so sad from entering into medicine, and I think it's the reason why like everything's falling into place now. At the time I didn't see it. I was like, why did I just miss by 1? And I like contest it and everything. They were like, right, no, like we're just so full, blah blah blah. But yeah, so. And
you know, you not getting into medical school kind of pushes us into your second mantra, which is failure is knowledge.
Exactly, you know.
And like, you know, the lessons that you've learned from that, have they pushed you into what you want to do now in terms of presenting and hosting? Yeah,
well, actually, for sure, because it's one of the reasons I actually did editing. So during my second year, I was depressed, and I picked up a hobby that frightened me, that I never thought I would even like. So I wanted to test myself, and I picked up a camera and started doing photography. But people don't understand that there's editing to photography, and I'm not talking about the editing that makes you look flawless. I'm talking about the editing of like lights and exposure. I'm sure camera heads would understand. But so there was a module in the second year which called bioinformatics, which is like editing of genes and stuff, and we had to play around with that. And I think that I found that topic so hard, so hard, because I'm not good with computers. People don't know this. I'm actually so bad with computers. But I think once I did my camera and once I tested that, it kind of fitted into biomedical science somehow. And that's why I was like, okay, I can do this side by side. Like they're two different things, but they're connected through this module. So that's fine.
And you said your father was like inspirational with that quote.
Yo.
Quote.
My dad is a G. Like, my dad is like he's just amazing. Shout out to my dad. He's he like, basically there was a time where I was like struggling with an essay. I told you this I think earlier, and I like called him and I was like, bro, like, Dad, I don't think I'm gonna pass this essay. And he was like, it's fine to fail. And I was just like, he was like, don't be hard on yourself, because that's one thing I'm my biggest critic. And he was like, you'll learn something of it. Like, failure is knowledge. I don't know if he stole this, because he's gonna lose so much credibility from me if he has. But no, once he said that, it made me think differently. It made me look at things differently. And I swear to God, I walked off that library and I was like, fuck it, I'm handing this out. And actually, I got a good grade. I got a 2.2.
Sick.
It wasn't a fail. It was not a fail.
Word. And like what lessons could you say that you've picked up from this mantra of failure is knowledge, in that you've implemented in your life?
Starting my podcast, moving out, I guess, because when I moved back in, I'm doing my masters now, but I'm doing my masters in Birmingham, and I was living in Birmingham at the time at my parents' house, and coming back after being alone 3 years, like living at uni, blah blah blah, having the freedom, whatever, it to me was a failure. I was like, yeah, like, I'm doing my masters, I'm doing this, but I feel like a failure because I'm back at my parents' house. Like, I had a vision of like moving out after uni, and I wanted to move out at 18. I did, but like, it was like at uni, and that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
So going back home for me was failure, but then picked myself up, and I guess I learned from that I didn't want to be there, so I just packed my stuff and went.
Kept you moving to London.
Yeah.
And that transition to London, was it easy for you?
No, it's not easy at all. Bro, I still cry to this day. Like, it's hard. Like, it's adjusting to life. For me, I think it's more hard because I'm so picky with the people like I choose to be with. Like, I don't want any bad energy around me. Like, I don't want certain groups of girls around me. Like, I'm very, very like particular on who I hang out. So that narrows my choices of being friends with many people. So sometimes there'll be times where I go clubs by myself, I go to bars by myself, I go to networking events by myself. Like, it's just what it is. And
but no, that independence that you go to those networking events, does it give you some sort of peace of mind knowing that you can
conquer something? Yeah, but do you know what? No, I'll tell you why. No, I think once I look at it from like an outside perspective, I guess it's like, oh, okay, T, you've done this now, like you should be like at peace of doing other things. But no, because once you're there and you don't know anybody and everyone's networking and I'm just here holding my champagne, I'm just like, yeah, cool, hi, I'm T. It's nerve-wracking, and like, you don't know like what to do, who to hang out with, and like, I think clubbing for me by myself was the hardest one, because I wasn't even wearing shades, my whole face was out. And like I was like trying to mingle, and I remember like this guy came up to me and he was trying to, the whole chirping situation, and I think he was like so shocked that I was there by myself, and I didn't want to lie to him and be like, my friends are on the way, because I don't have no fucking friends. And then I was trying to like he was trying to talk to me, but I wasn't trying to have it, and I really wanted to just dance. And I said, hey, do you want to dance? And he was so shocked that I asked him to dance. He was like, no one's ever asked me to dance. And he was like, it's not normal in England, let alone London. And I was like, okay, well, come on, we should dance. And when I look at it, it's like, wow, that's brave. Like, that's your tea. Now you can feel at peace because you've done that. Like, nothing else should scare you, but it does. It does.
It's life, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we can swiftly move on to your third mantra, which is, you got this.
Mm-hmm.
There is only one me.
Yeah.
There is only one, all of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how does that push you? How does that motivate you to kind of not just do what you do now in terms of like outside of uni, but within uni and your family and all those other aspects?
I think because I'm gonna split it into two. With there's only one me, it makes me think like, okay, there's people that try to copy what I do, or they try to like just take credit for what things that I've done, and it makes me feel like, okay, well, I'm me. There's already me. Like, you don't know what's in my head. Like, what I'm gonna do next, you don't know, and it just makes me feel big. It makes me feel proud. Like, okay, there's only one T in the whole, like, sometimes I'm like, there's only one T Abraha that lives at this house, that wears this, that owns this. Like, I make it so specific. So I'm like, yeah, there's no one else like me. Like, yeah, they do something similar, but they can't do it the way I do it. And that's how I like feel like I'm not the rest of the world. I'm me. That's what makes me feel proud. And then the first part, which is, you got this. It's whenever I like face something and I feel like I can't, I try to belittle the situation. So for example, like what's one thing that I couldn't do the other day? I guess revising in Birmingham, and then having work after my exam so I had to finish my exam and had to go to work within half an hour. There was so much transition because I had to get back, to get my laptop, I had meetings. The meetings were in Stockholm, and I had to do face videos and I had to prep questions and all of this, and for me that was overwhelming. But I was like, T, you've got this, like, we can bullshit through, like, you've got this. And I did, luckily. So I just tried to make the situation smaller and make me feel like, well, not even me as a person, but like my confidence bigger than me.
And that mentality, where did that mentality come from? You've
got this. Feeling like I don't, and then having to fake it. Like, sometimes I'm like, like, I actually can't. Like, I'm this, I'm that, and I'm this, and I'm not confident, I'm ugly, and I'm da-da-da. And I had all of these words, and I'm like, okay, I don't care. Like, I have got this. Like, I pretend and I shove it out. And I think that's the only reason.
So it kind of like pushes out all that negative stuff and keeps you for the positive stuff. That's wavy, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Thanks.
And your fourth mantra, which is big as my vision.
That kind of ties in. So like, actually, I'll tell you something. My dad the other day I was telling him about my plans. So I have two plans. I have like my academic plans, which is like I want to end up fucking UN and blah blah blah, and then I have like my creative side, which is like I want to end up here and here. And I was telling him something that I did, and prior to that, the day before, I told him something opposite on one of the other side, and he was like, come in. We was in the kitchen. He was like, come into the living room. And this, I don't know if this is such an African thing to do, but my dad picked up two bananas, and he was like, hold one banana underneath your arm, and he placed the other banana on the table. He's like, and pick up that banana with the same hand. And I was like, no, because this is gonna drop. He was like, exactly, you're doing too much. And I've always heard this, like, you're doing too much, you're spreading yourself too thin, and I hate it. And your ability, your ambition exceeds your abilities. Something I always go, like, everyone used to say it to me, and I'm like, no, because I know I can, when you can feel something inside you, and it's like, you don't even know where it is, but it's there. It's like that. Like, I know that this is gonna work. And like, people are like, no, but T, you're just doing way too much. I'm like, but that's good. Like, I can feel that I can, like, if I couldn't, I wouldn't be doing it. Like, it's like not rocket science. Like, if my body can't handle it, the workload I couldn't handle it, do you think I would be doing it? No, because I'm doing it, that means I can do it. So leave me alone. So that's why that's why I always tell myself, like, hey, you're just as big as your vision, T. Just don't listen to these people. Don't listen to them making you feel small, that you're a nobody, that you're this. Actually, nobody really says that I'm nobody to my face. They just say it online. It's okay. I was like, it's okay, because if I saw you, you'd be like, hey, T.
Yeah, bunda haters for real.
Listen, yeah. So yeah, I'm big as my vision. My vision is big, and I'm bigger. No, just as big.
And that was actually something I wanted to dive into, because you said to me about how you visualize it, right? And you said you visualize it as, well, I don't want to ruin it. How do you visualize you be the big as your vision? You said that you make it smaller. Yeah.
So so with my vision, I make myself big. so the vision is smaller than me. So it's like it feels like it's in my hand, like I can, like it's right there, like this is so small, like my vision, my dreams, I can grab this, like it's so attainable. Because I feel big and I feel grand and I feel like I can do it. Sometimes this is so weird, but sometimes I'll be walking, this is so bad, but I'll be walking in the road and I'll be like, yo, I'm the boss ass person right now. Like I'll be looking at, you get shit on me. Like I have £0 in my bank account, but I still walk around like, yo, I own this London city. Like sometimes I literally like, I have the confidence of like, you would think I've made it to the Grammys. Honestly, my confidence, whoa, sometimes it's skyrocket, but sometimes it's like, but yeah, no, that's so, yeah, I make myself bigger than the thing.
And in the industry that you're in, you know, there's lots of struggles and there's lots of discussions regarding women, especially women of color.
For sure.
How do you kind of like
maneuver
through?
So people used to be like, at first I used to like get so upset that I was like, the very first day I did photography, I told my dad was like, he waited up for me. I did a show in Birmingham at the O2, I don't know if you know, but Dad was like, he waited up for me. He was like, how was the concert? And I was like, it was great, but the guys were trying to hit on me when I was trying to take photos for them. Daddy, I don't know if this industry is for me. He was like, oh yeah, this is it. Like, I'm sorry. And that was a constant theme for like 2-3 years, and it would break my heart. Like, I was with somebody at the time, and I would just go home crying to them and be like, yo, bro, like, you won't even understand the bullshit I had to go through today. Like, somebody wouldn't even let me take their picture unless I gave them a kiss on their like cheek and stuff. It's so bad. And then I met one of my mentors, shout out to Eddie, and he was like, T, you need to look at it from a different perspective. And I was like, how? Like, what perspective? He was like, because of the way you look, you've already created impact without you speaking. So when you do hold a mic, or when you do hold a photography, they're expecting, or they're waiting to see what this girl can do. So make sure you just do the best that you can. I'm not saying hold your tongue, but whatever, but just utilizing, like, manipulate the situation. So now, at first when I was in the microphone and boys be like, phew, phew, and the whistle and the cat, whatever, is it cat whistling?
Wolf whistle.
Wolf whistling at me, I'd be so offended. Like, internally I would cry. But now, like, every time they do that, I'm like, yo, this is me. Like, hey, like, watch what I'm about to say. Like, I'm gonna kill this mic, kind of thing. So yeah. And
it's very interesting how you switch the negative to a positive.
Yeah, that's because of the people around me. And actually, sorry to cut you off, but you mentioned, how do I maneuver with the color that I am? This is a constant, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this is a problem for me. I'm still battling with loving my skin color, unfortunately. I used to go to therapy for some other bullshit, and I would like color myself, you know, you draw self-portrait, you draw yourself, and I would color myself in pink because I didn't resonate with the color brown. It was like a dark felt tip brown, and I didn't see myself. At the time, I was way lighter than this. Like, I was super light, so I didn't see myself being closer to that color. So, and I used the pink color, and then the white girl next to me was like, what are you doing? You are not this color. You need to use that brown color. And like, I didn't hate the brown color, but I just didn't feel like I was closer to it. And then I was like, right, cool, I'm gonna use the brown color. I didn't hate it, but I just didn't feel like that was me. Growing up, I'd be called cappuccino, latte, and when they, like, the school that I went to never really saw my, like, one of my parents, and I'd moved school so many times, and they'd be like, your mum's black and your dad's white, or your mum is this, like, to the point where people would be like, you're only allowed to say half the N-word. You can only say nig or gur. it would hurt me so much. And like, when like your teacher is filling out, you know, quick details about you, automatically they would tick black and white, like, or other. It's like, ask me, like, I'm right here, ask me. Like, I would say I'm black. I'm not embarrassed about that, but I just didn't like the fact that I was ethnically ambiguous, you know, and people didn't care to ask what I was. Growing up, I didn't like that. And even my mom, actually, me and my brother are very, very fair. Growing up, we looked like Arabs. So people would even like tease her and be like, it's okay, like, what are your children? And she would be like, we're Eritrean. And the woman would be like, come on, it's 2000. Like, we can talk about mixed race kids now. Like, is your husband or like seriously, it was so bad. And yeah, and like and then it always had a theme. So like, and then I moved, and then this school was predominantly white again, and again they would tug my hair, this is not your hair. And then I went to a really black school. Oh yeah, you're mixed race, you're half caste. Oh, did I hate that word. And my brother has like big brown eyes, and I have just big eyes. Not brown, just poo. But yeah, so like that. And then when I moved to Birmingham, I felt happy about my color. I was like, yo, I'm light skinned, like fuck it. I don't like the tags that come around with it, but I found people that were my shade. And I was like, yo, you Eritrean? Ah, nah, I'm Bengali. You Eritrean? Nah, I'm mixed race, you know. Well, you Eritrean? Nah, I'm just light skinned. Like, it's like, yo, I found my crew, and I was accepted. And this is why I would always love Birmingham, even though I'm not born and bred from Birmingham. I always have love for Birmingham.
Sick, man. And you know, that struggle and with the industry and all those hurdles that you faced and you are going to face. What will be your mindset going forward towards that?
I guess I think definitely one of my mentors would be you got this always. And I think another thing that I think as I progress and get older and whatever in the industry, I think it's just going to be like, I don't know. I really don't, that's made me think. Can you ask me one more time?
So the question was about your the hurdles that you face regarding your skin color, your race, and the questions that you've had. How are you looking to face those hurdles that are ahead of you?
Okay, cool. I think I need to just remember that I'm a role model, and that I should just be happy in who I am, because there's some little girl or some little boy that resonates with me that can't resonate with anyone in their school or in their peer group or in their church or in their family because of their skin color or because of their beliefs or because of their thoughts on this topic and da-da-da. So I think I'm always going to be conscious about that, being a role model. And when I say role model, I don't mean like being, go to education, da-da-da-da kind of thing. And not necessarily be the role model that I've already, like, in things that I've done, but just be true to myself, because people will like me. People like me because I am true to myself. Like, people don't like me because I'm that girl that this and that. People like me because Tea's that weird girl, you know? And yeah. I think that's something I just need to keep being myself, and I think that's the only thing that's gonna keep me going.
That's incredible, man. And you know, as time goes on, and from early, like, we all have to kind of like, you know, push women empowerment.
For sure.
And all those things regarding equality and equality of everything, really. So, as we come to the end of this interview, I want to ask you if there's a podcast or a book that helps you or has helped you in anything that you do in life.
Okay, so when I was going through the worst part of my life, I think most recent one anyway, there wasn't podcasts weren't really that big, so I never really thought about podcasts. But there was a book towards the later stage of it, and it's just such a silly novel. God, I can't talk today. Novel. It was just like a romantic novel. Literally the cliche romance. It was like boy girl meets boy rich, girl poor, but the thing that I liked about it was the fact that she drew the charity side out of him, you know, the charitable, the nice, because he was an arrogant guy, and she was like this very strong-headed woman that, like, I almost felt like she was me. If I was to be in a relationship with a guy that's like that, I would try to bring the nice out of him by being the way I am. And she was just unapologetically herself, and like, he wanted to go to like some really cool restaurant, and she was like, no, we're gonna meet at Starbucks. And I've done that, not with a guy, okay, he was a guy, but it was like a mentor, and it made me realize, like, wow, like, she's being herself, like, she doesn't care, like, she doesn't give a fuck that this guy's a millionaire. She's like, yeah, whatever, cool, we're meeting at Starbucks. You're cool with it. So that book was like, I need to be more of myself, unapologetic.
What was that book called?
Millionaire's Wish. I forgot the author, but yeah, it's called Millionaire's Wish.
Millionaire's Wish.
It's amazing.
And a song that helps you also, that's helped you through maybe difficult times, or helped you in the morning, or...
Okay, got it. So during the most recent stage of like my depression, I think the album, I think it's called, I forgot what the album's called, but it's like, it's an artist from Toronto called LA. He makes like alternative R&B kind of music, and his album really helped. Views by Drake also helped. I was like in the motorway crying, my life sucks. But yeah, those two albums. And I think a feel-good song to me would be like Shine by Laura Isabel, I think her name is. It's like on a Special K advert, and yeah, that, and something by Kalani, probably. Kalani, just a feel-good artist. Like, I always feel like so sassy when I listen to her. But yeah,
sick. And finally, to the audience watching, what's the message that you would give to them? Just your message about life, or anything in general.
Right. In like how to break into the industry, or just like in life in general?
Whatever you want, whether it's the industry, whether it's life.
Okay, cool. So I think my message for you guys would be, it's actually so okay to be weird. Like, people will tell you, oh, you're so weird. If I was to get paid every time I heard that, I would be filthy rich. Like, I would not be here. I would be in a yacht in Miami or something. And I kind of was listening to this sermon that said a glitch is like your gift. And I think my glitch is being weird. You know, the longer you are with me, the more you realize. But being weird, if you're weird, or if you're really smart, if you're something, that is your glitch. That is your gift. Like, that's what you should profit by, because that's what you've got in abundance. Why not make it into a living or something? So I think is be true to yourself, and no matter whatever everyone is saying is weird about you, or it's different, or blah blah blah, go with that, utilize it, maximize that, and make something out of it, because they don't have it, you do. So you can, it's easier for you to succeed in that little field, because you're the only one that can do it best. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, T.
Thank you. It was nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too.
You too.
This is Sit Down. We're about to stand up.
Oh, cool. We're gonna do star jumps.